One of my first videos I ever did on this channel was a Kenner Millennium Falcon restoration, just like this one here, except that one I found all the parts for it. I repaired most of the things. I did a complete tear down and fixed and cleaned the motor. But in this video, I just want to see how cheap I can make this Millennium Falcon complete and working and looking good on the shelf. Now, I've had this in a bin for years, sitting on a shelf and behind me here, and well, I've been 3D printing parts for it. I've been finding parts from part lots, and I'm pretty sure I have most of the things I need. I can see I have the canopy here. This is 3D printed, and the control panel. So let's look inside. Let's get this thing turned around, and we'll see what's inside it. And hopefully I have all the parts. We can get this thing working. Let's check it out. So looking inside, we do have an original cover. Now this cover is broken right here. And there's I think, is that a broken piece? No, that's not a broken piece. So there's just a broken piece right here we would have to fix. Luckily, we have a template to go by. We've got a 90s one, which is the exact same thing, but in a gray, and it's got battle damage. And it does have some stickers, but it does have a lot of paint on there, some grays. We could use this, but I'd like to use the original one, to tell you the truth. If we look inside, oh, look at all the goodies in here. We do have an original canopy with the glass. I didn't even know I had that. Well, that's fantastic. Now, it is a little broken on the front and it warped. We'll have to see if we can fix that. Now, the idea behind doing this is to have a Millennium Falcon complete and repaired to the point where you can put it on the shelf for as cheap as possible. And I can tell you, all of these parts I have here are pretty much were in lots and, well, like I said, 3D printed. So we've got an original door hatch for the bottom. It's really cool. And let me see what else we have here. We have a floor panel for where they hide out in the Millennium Falcon. Here's another one. It's kind of warped. Here's another one that's warped. We have another one of those doors that's 3D printed. Another 3D printed door. Geez, I 3D printed a lot of those. We have an original gun turret here. We've got a 3D printed one here that I painted gray a while ago. I do have part of a satellite dish. We have a 90s table, and we have an original table here. I've got some more satellites 3D printed. I 3D printed some of the door hatch legs. Those will come in handy because I'm pretty sure I don't have any. I 3D printed a chair here. Some more legs. I 3D printed the hanger here for the training ball. And I have a 3D printed chair swivel here for the turret. We've got one from the 90s. We've got some 3D printed parts for finishing up the satellite that we have. Got some more of those here. Oh, I guess I have an original part here. So we pretty much have the satellite. So I think we have everything we need to complete this. We've got to do some painting, probably some filing, and also you may say, well, where's the training ball? Well, I also have these here. I've had a ton of these. My wife has a summer camp she does with kids, and they had a bunch of beads that we had bought on Facebook a long time ago, and a bunch of these were in it. You can tell that they're not original. So we need some C batteries for this. I've got some right here. Hopefully they're still good. positive, negative, and then we should get a weird sound here. Nothing. These are fresh batteries, so there's an issue with the motor, and that would require me to take all of this apart. 100% of the time I've done this, the motors are just seized and they need to have a little lubrication in there. I'm not taking all of this apart. It's a huge process to get this working. I don't even care if it's working because I don't really care about the sound. So we're just going to close this up. I know that it has a motor in it and we're just going to close that up and not worry about that right now. The feet on the bottom, let's take a look at those. They do go up and stay up. This one goes up and stays up. And this comes up and stays up for that. Now I will say there's one thing that is missing that I didn't notice at the beginning, is that there's a clear dome here that is missing. I'm either going to have to find one or 3D print one. I'd like to find one because 3D printing clear, I've done it in the past and it's more of a cloudy clear than a clear, so maybe by the end of the video I'll have one. So there's some things we have to paint. These have to be painted blue, and also the control panel in the cockpit needs to be painted blue, and I think they're roughly around the same color as this, maybe a little bit of lighter blue than that. So I'm going to find some blue spray paint and I'll spray paint these legs, and I think the chair is also blue. So the chair, the legs, and the control panel need to be painted blue. Rest of these parts need to be painted around the same color as the top of this. And I've come to the conclusion that I am going to use the original top, even though it's yellowed. I'm going to clean this quite a bit. It's really dirty. Maybe it'll get rid of some of that yellow. But also there's some cracks in here. So I'm going to use some plastic weld and fill those cracks. Hopefully that will work. If plastic weld doesn't work, then I'll use baking soda and super glue and fill those cracks in. But I think plastic weld will work on this plastic, hopefully. Let me grab some paint. Here's the paint I'm going to be using is Krylon Rust Protector. It's a gloss enamel. I use enamel paints when I can, and well, this is a rust proof type of paint, but we're just going to be using it on plastic, so it's really not going to do any rust proofing. And then for the Millennium Falcon itself, I'm going to be using this. This is called Gloss Ivory 469002. I think this would be a great paint to use. It's close to the original color of the Millennium Falcon. It's a little lighter, but I can actually darken that a little bit once this is on, and I'm definitely going to want to paint this because it's way more yellow than the body itself and all the other parts. Okay, while that paint is drying, let's take a look at this top here. I am going to repair this area, but first I have to fix all these cracks. There's a bunch of cracks. There's one here. There's one that's really long. Another second one here. There was two cracks here, which I used plastic weld to fix that. That's fantastic. There's a little bit of a crack there still. There's another crack here. And there's one up here, and there's one here. So all of those have to be fixed. And luckily, plastic weld works on this, and it worked really well. Like I said, there's those two cracks there. And if we look around the other side, right there, and it went all the way down here, you can hardly see that crack anymore. So let's get this plastic welded. So here's the cover. It's all cleaned off. I've got the stickers off, and all those cracks have been repaired with plastic weld. Big, huge one there, all the way down here, couple up here, and that is pretty rigid, and I think it's going to last. The next thing we have to do, I'm going to sand this down and build this back up with styrene. So here is the repaired top here. It looks really good. I added some detail with some different thicknesses of styrene, and it does fit in there really nice, just like the original one does. And that looks fantastic. That's great. So it is quite yellowed. I'm going to paint this top. That blue paint turned out pretty good. It's very shiny, and I'm going to leave it shiny. You think a control panel would be shiny anyway. I like that look. You can see here that the struts are the same blue and still shiny, and I'm going to keep those shiny as well. I think they look really good. Next we have the chair, and that same blue also turned out nice, but we also have to connect it to the turret. This is the turret from the 90s Millennium Falcon, and this is the gun from the original Kenner Millennium Falcon. We can put the chair on this one. It doesn't matter which version you have. Fits on there really nice, my 3D printed chair. But before we put this up and then connect it to the two halves of the gun, we need the clear dome that holds that all in place. This is the one I have from my Millennium Falcon in my collection right now, and I have to recreate this. I just cut a piece of plexiglass here, and now I have to shape it to fit that. So let's do that. So here is my completed gun turret window. It's hard to see, but it turned out really good. It's really easy to make something like this. You can see some of the detail in there from when I pressed it into the original one. And I just sanded it around the edges just to make it a perfect circle. I even have those little notches. It fits in there pretty good, snaps in the way the original one does. And I guess the test is to put it all together and see if everything fits together properly. So we got to put this in. Actually, take the chair off first. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I printed this off when I did the first restoration, and I didn't need all of these stickers. I just needed 3 or 4 of them, and you can tell that they're a little dark, but I think some of the ones that I need for the cockpit, you can see the control panel stickers and stuff. I think those will work fine. And we've got the thruster stickers here. I think those will look really good. And some of the other stickers we can use. So I'm going to apply the stickers in the control panel at first just to see what it looks like. And I'll continue on through the restoration using the rest of the stickers as needed. Now this canopy isn't perfect. It's not quite as 3D as the original one, but the stickers kind of make it pop and bring it back to life. Next, let's get the glass for the canopy fixed. I have this original canopy. It is amazing. It still has the glass, but unfortunately there's some issues here. So I'm going to go boil some water, bring it downstairs, and see if we can bend that back once it's in the boiling water and we can melt it down. There's a little bit of a stress mark there too. It's also broken here, so we're going to try to bend this, probably bend this back, and it'll probably match that anyway. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go. That Plastex works really good. The plastic is really clear. There is still some marks on it, but I got rid of that stress mark that was on the top by reshaping it using that boiled water, and it turned out really good. Now there is a piece still missing on the bottom, but I'm not worried about that so far. It's an original piece of glass and it works really good, and the cockpit is done along with the control panel. So let's move on to the next step. Now, as I was putting the thruster stickers on, I didn't put the one on the middle because there is a problem with the plastic right here. It's bubbled out almost like it was heated at one time. It got against something really hot, and I have to fix that. So I'm going to pull out the heat gun again. We're going to heat that up and see if we can reshape it. Now we can put the sticker on here. Now that that's more uniform shape. Okay, now we've got the top painted. That looks really good with the new paint. But as you can see, the paint color is not quite right. Now, I also painted the removable floor here, and you can see that it is a different color. And what I did was took some coffee grounds in water and I submerged this in the coffee water for probably like 12 hours, and it turned the color that I want it to be. So I'm going to do the same thing with this top, and I might actually leave it in there a little bit longer so that it's a little bit darker, and then I'm going to paint both the floor and this top with a semi-gloss. So it's been 24 hours since this has been sitting, and I'm hoping that it will be the right color. Pull that out, and it is pretty close. I'm going to take this and rinse it off, and then we'll compare it to the color of the Millennium Falcon itself. This is really, really good. That is close to the color that I wanted it to be, and it looks really good. Now, just like the floor, the removable floor inside, I'm going to give this a satin finish, and then we'll get this all put back together with all the new parts and all the repairs. We take the turret here, put that together, like that, and then finish it off by putting the seat in. There we go, we have a functional turret and seat in there. Everything works, makes that sound, and that's awesome. Let's go on to the next part. Now, one of my original parts I have here is the games table, so we'll put that there. Now, here's my training ball arm. And I found a training ball at the beginning of the video. I was showing you some black ones, and they were a little bit too big or too small. And I found this one here. It's actually brown, like a dark brown, like a root beer color. I actually think that that's a really good color for the training ball. So I'm going to use this. We'll put our arm on here, and I just got to get some rope to attach the training ball on, and then we'll have that ready to go too. Here's the door and the struts. We'll put that on. That looks good. And here is the cover. It's been tinted with coffee, and I put a satin clear on it, and it looks great. It's about the same color as the ship itself. I've got everything on the ship now. I'm going to put this on it and complete the repair. The only thing I have to do really is I need to put a couple stickers here. Now, I do have a couple original ones, which I can put there. And I'm just going to use acid-free glue stick to glue those on. And I think I have 3 more here somewhere. So there is the complete ship. I don't have 3 more stickers here. I'll print out some more later on and I'll put this on. So I just want to say thanks for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed that. We've got all of the parts here. Some of them are new, some of them are 3D printed, some of them are from the 90s, some of them are original, and we've got some repaired things here too. You could take this top off here. We did some tinting with the coffee, and we've got the inside here looking really good. So thanks for watching this episode of Toysbackzen. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.